Roger here from Big Fat Simulations. Going to play in Miami, runway 08 and 12, Move 100 challenge. This is Airport Madness 3D Volume 2. And I don't talk much, I just basically control. That's the priority here. I try to do as many of these videos as I can. People seem to like them. Seems to generate discussion. People ask me questions. Why did you do it like this? How come you moved airplanes like that? And some players are under the impression that I have a few secrets that, since I made the game after all, I should have a few secrets, right? But that is not the case. Every time I play this game, I'm always humbled by everyone else's high scores. And why is it that I can't come even close to the highest score? I mean, I'm doing everything I can think of to move traffic. So we'll see. Anyways, the Move 100 challenge. People do complain that they can't control the traffic rate, and I decided a while back that it's silly to have traffic rate controllable by the player, because it's a challenge, and you're playing against other people, and the challenge should be the same. So the traffic is managed automatically, and it basically depends on how well you're playing. If you're playing really well, then the traffic rate will be high. If you're not playing very well, traffic gets slowed down. That way things don't become insane. I think I'm a pretty good player, so that traffic rate should get up there to around 10 pretty quick. So let's take a look here. What's going on? I've got a 787 coming in for 12, two planes crossing 12. That shouldn't be a problem. I basically like to send traffic out to 8 right and 12 and runway 9. I don't bother sending airplanes out to the far runway to the north, because what's the point? They just it's just a make work project, really. So things are looking good here. I've got somebody waiting to cross. Every time an airplane stops and holds, the traffic rate comes down. What does this Twitter say? Something's got to give, says local air traffic control rep. Yeah, my sanity's got to give. Let's take a look here. F-27 coming in for 8 right. I've got time to get this one out. 2 aircraft coming in for 8 right. A faster plane following a slower plane, which is not the desired order of things. So I'm going to tell the F-27 to hammer it, and let's see what this pilot's thinking here. He's looking up ahead, and he's seeing that he's got an airplane on final approach directly in front of him. That's not too cool. Expedite off. Back to tower. There's so much that you can do in Airport Madness that you can't do in real life. Here we've got an undesirable combination. An F-27 departing, followed by a Concorde. The Concorde will be sitting on the runway for a little while, waiting. Okay, what's up here? 787, A380, A380. They're all coming for 8 left. Let's change them to 8 right. Just because it eliminates the need to cross a runway. And I've got time on my hands to do it, right? So I launched the Dash 8, and during this waiting period, I'm sneaking an aircraft across the runway. Because the Concorde climbs at about 1,000,000 miles an hour, it's going to chew up that F-27 very quickly. So while we're sitting around twiddling our thumbs, I take advantage of the time gap by crossing my 787. What is going on here? 8 right, 8 right. Oh, Concorde. Anytime I see a Concorde, I basically tell it to hit the brakes. In Airport Madness, when you tell a Concorde to slow down, their speeds match that of other aircraft. This is looking rather congested, but that's okay. I like heat. I like the kitchen. I don't talk about this much, but I am a real-world air traffic controller. And if you were to ask me, how real is this? Well, I'd tell you it's not even close. But there are aspects of it that are kind of real. Like that feeling that you have when you've got an airplane lined up on the runway, and an airplane on final approach, and one coming in for a crossing runway. And it's the mother of all squeeze plays. That feeling that you get where you think you're trapped. that is a very real feeling. And just one second. Sorry, I just had to, I had something on fire on the stove. I just had to call the fire department. Yeah, that's a very real feeling where you kind of box yourself in. And sometimes you get into a situation where there's nothing you can do but tell an airplane to pull up, which is what they teach you in Air Traffic Control 101. So Airport Madness, is it real? Nah, this is way... It wouldn't be this busy. The airplanes wouldn't be this tight. But it's a fun game. So in the summer of 2019, I'm coming up with Airport Madness Pro. And you can read about it. It's on the website. I haven't really started talking about it on the social channels yet. I'm just waiting for the concept to kind of gel in my head a little bit more and become real inside my head, and then I'm going to start talking about it more on Facebook. I started talking about this a little bit with some people on my beta test team, and the number of questions I got really floored me. They were asking some very serious questions. How's this going to work? How's that going to work? How's this going to be any different? And I didn't really have the answers, which kind of freaked me out. So I'm just kind of building this idea in my head before I start bragging about it on Facebook and on YouTube. But I gotta say, it's looking really good. Airport Madness Pro, it's going to be like Airport Madness 3D, except a lot more airplanes, more of a realistic speed. So instead of 8 gates and planes moving very, relatively speaking, very quickly to a runway, it's going to be more like 40 or 50 airplanes. Most of them are going to be parked at gates, and you're waiting for them to call ready. And they'll be the airport will be a more realistic size. So, for example, this 787, it takes them 1 minute and 40 seconds to get from the gate to the runway. While in Airport Madness Pro, it's going to be more like 6 minutes. So it's slow. It's going to be a slower play, but much more in depth. And I think it's more capturing of one's imagination. So Airport Madness 3D will always be the game that you go to if you want the speed and the heat and the... Well, I shouldn't say that. It's the game that you play when you just want to have a slam, bang, move airplanes as quickly as you can while eating a bag of chips type of thing. That's what Airport Madness 3D is good for. And apparently drinking beer. But Airport Madness Pro will be a little more technical. There'll be real-world procedures, which you can turn off if you don't want to be that psychotic. But I think it's the missing... It's what's missing right now. So I've done 2D Airport Madness games. I've done 6 of those. And I just don't think I can do any more 2D games. People have asked me, please make an Airport Madness World Edition Part 2. But I just can't see myself doing it. I can't see myself picking 12 more airports and doing them 2D style. I feel like that's just been done. That story's been told. And it's now time to come up with something new. That's why I made Airport Madness 3D. And Airport Madness 3D has been tons of fun. I'm actually very surprised that it's caught on as well as it has. I was really not sure if Airport Madness could ever be a 3D game, but it was definitely possible. Hang on a second. I got to tell this airplane to speed up, and I've got to tell this one to slow down. Anybody coming for 8 right? Let's launch this guy. Launch him. Taxi. Taxi. Well, it should be no surprise to any of you why I didn't become a radio announcer. I just, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how you talk and talk and talk for 30 minutes straight. I'm doing my best here to keep the planes separated and keep you folks interested here. Okay, look at that. 2 slow planes followed by a really fast plane. So they're on 8 right, they're on 8 left, Concorde's 8 right. I think that's going to work, actually. It's going to tell this aircraft to punch it. And what else? Anybody landing on 12? Nope. Someone's in position, waiting patiently. patiently. So Airport Madness Pro, things will move slower, but it'll be so much more technical. You'll be assigning SIDs. What's that? Standard instrument departures. All that can be disabled in settings if you want to keep it simple and just have more of an Airport Madness 3D-ish experience. Be my guest. Turn off the details and settings. But if you want as real as it gets in Airport Madness, then you leave everything as the default settings, and the game will it'll involve you thinking about what route to send an airplane to a runway via, when to change the active runways. There'll be coordination with the airport manager, the flow control people, as well as the TRACON, or the Area Control Center, as it's occasionally referred to in the world. Well, this is pretty good drivel so far. I've been talking for 11 minutes straight. So here we go. Let's line up some planes. You may have noticed I don't apply real-world separation in Airport Madness 3D. I will be in Airport Madness Pro when I play it, but in this game, it's an arcade game. I admit that. So I just move planes as quickly as I can, and that means having two planes rolling down the runway simultaneously. I don't care. It's a game. All right. This game, it feels like I'm playing whack-a-mole. I'm just looking for the reds and looking for the oranges and clicking on them as frantically as I can. Let's line this airplane up. Anybody coming for 8 right? Negative. This one gets a takeoff clearance. Okay, that one wants to cross, but they can't because someone's rolling. Okay, what can I be doing? Okay, let's move some airplanes. Why are these airplanes just sitting here? So I don't know how much Airport Madness 3D you have played, but I must say I'm impressed by my stressometer. It's nice and low. Looks like my blood pressure meter. Nice and low. I try to keep everything moving when I'm playing this game. I try not to let anybody wait. If I can cross somebody, I will. I just try to keep everything moving as quickly as I can. Okay, anybody coming for 8 right? Got an A380 coming, but I think I can beat this A380 with my departing dash 8. Ooh, actually that's looking tighter than I thought it would look. That's looking like it's going to be okay. There's nothing like watching an A380 arriving on top of a departing F-27. Okay, just slow down, slow down. You know, I really did try to put a lot of work into the smaller details when I made this game. If you are familiar with aviation, if you watch enough airplanes land at airports, you'll notice these little things like when the airplane's touching down, they'll raise their nose. The nose will come up a little bit, and I do that. It's called the flare, and I added that detail. And another thing I added was when an aircraft departs, they raise their nose initially, but you don't actually see them lift off right away. The airplane raises the nose, and it's riding on the main landing gear for a moment or two, and then the airplane rises into the air. And I really worked hard to try and nail that. I don't know how well I really did with it, but I think it looks pretty good. Oh no, there's my first crash and my last crash. Yeah. Too much talking, too much distraction. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll make another one of these real soon.